I almost missed my own life, and the worst part is I didn't even know it was happening. I was 52 years old, sitting in a corner office on the 14th floor, looking out at a city I barely had time to walk through, when my phone buzzed. It was my son. He was turning 16 that day. The message said, "It's okay, Dad, we'll celebrate when you're not busy." I stared at that message for a long time, and then I put my phone face down, went back to my spreadsheet and finished the report that was due by 5 o'clock. I told myself I'd make it up to him. I told myself that's what good fathers did. They sacrificed today so their kids could have a better tomorrow. I had been telling myself that story for years. That night I drove home at 9:30, ate reheated pasta standing over the kitchen sink, and went to bed without seeing my son at all. He was already asleep. His birthday was over, and I had a clean inbox. That's when something cracked open in me. Not loudly, not dramatically, just a slow, quiet crack, like a window that's taken one too many winters. I want to tell you what happened after that, because I think a lot of you are living a version of the same story right now. Maybe you're in your 40s and you can still change the trajectory. Maybe you're in your 50s like I was and you feel like it's too late to reroute. Maybe you've already hit 60 and you're looking back wondering where the time went. Wherever you are, I need you to hear this, because nobody told me, and I wish someone had. I grew up believing that success was the point. My father worked 6 days a week running a small hardware store. He was proud and tired, and he measured his love for us in the things he provided. We had a good house. We had new shoes for school. We had everything we needed and not much of what we wanted, which was just more of him. He thought he was doing right by us. He was doing the only thing he knew how to do, and without realizing it, I became him. I took his blueprint, and I built a bigger version of the same life. By the time I was 45, I had a title, a salary, a mortgage on a house that had more rooms than we used, 2 cars, a retirement account, and a marriage that was surviving mostly on scheduling and shared responsibility rather than anything that actually felt like love. My wife Karen and I were good partners. We coordinated, we managed the household, we raised our kids efficiently, but somewhere along the way we had stopped being friends. We stopped talking about anything real. We stopped laughing. We were 2 people running the same operation, and we were both exhausted, and neither of us said anything about it because saying it out loud would make it real. I thought this was just what marriage became. I thought this was just what adulthood looked like once the early excitement wore off. I thought everyone felt this way, and the ones who pretended otherwise were either lying or lucky. I was wrong about all of it. The birthday message from my son was the crack. What broke me open completely happened about 4 months later. I had a routine physical. My doctor, a quiet man named Dr. Osei, who I'd been seeing for 12 years, sat down after reviewing my results and looked at me in a way he hadn't before. He said my blood pressure was high, my cortisol levels were elevated, I had early markers for metabolic syndrome, and I was showing signs of chronic sleep deprivation. He asked me how I was doing, not my numbers, me, how was I doing? I opened my mouth to say fine, that's always what I said. Fine, busy but fine, and instead what came out was nothing. My throat just closed. I sat there in a paper gown on a crinkly table, and I could not say the word fine because my body refused to lie anymore. Dr. Osei let the silence sit. He didn't rush me. After a moment, he said, "Richard, your body is keeping score even when your mind won't." I have thought about that sentence almost every day since. I drove home and sat in the parking garage of my building for 45 minutes before going inside. I just sat there in the dark with the engine off, and I finally let myself ask the question I had been avoiding for years. If I died tomorrow, what would I actually have lived? The answer scared me more than any diagnosis could have. I had worked, I had provided, I had achieved things on paper, but I had not been present for almost any of it. I had physically been in the room for birthday parties, holidays, vacations, Sunday dinners, and I had been mentally elsewhere for nearly all of them, running through work problems, planning next week, worrying about things that mostly never happened. My kids had grown up with a father who was technically there and emotionally somewhere else entirely. I started making changes slowly at first. I left work at 6, then at 5:30. I started eating dinner at the table instead of in front of my laptop. I started asking my kids questions and actually waiting for the answers instead of half listening while scrolling through emails. It felt awkward at first, like a muscle I hadn't used in years. My daughter actually asked me once if I was okay because I seemed different. I told her I was trying to be more present. She looked at me for a second and said, "Yeah, I can tell," not with sarcasm, with something that broke my heart a little, because it meant she had noticed the absence. Karen and I started going for walks after dinner, not because we had anything profound to say, just to be outside together without a screen or a task or a reason. It took about 3 weeks of mostly quiet walks before we started actually talking again, real talking, about things that mattered, about things that scared us, about the fact that we had both been lonely inside our own marriage for a long time, and neither of us had known how to say it. She cried one night on one of those walks. I hadn't seen Karen cry in years. She said she had felt invisible for so long she had almost forgotten she had feelings that needed to be seen. I stood there on that sidewalk and I felt like the worst kind of fool, not a villain. Just a man who had been so locked inside his own head, his own performance of responsibility, that he had disappeared from his own family without ever meaning to. I took a hard look at our finances and realized we were living a lifestyle built around status rather than joy. The big house cost us a fortune in maintenance, taxes, and stress. We had a vacation property we visited twice a year. We had subscriptions and memberships and obligations that consumed money and time and produced very little actual happiness. I started asking a different question about every expense, every commitment, every way we were spending our hours. The question was simple. Does this actually make us feel more alive? Or does it just look good from the outside? We sold the vacation house. We downsized our main home 18 months later. We took the equity and paid off every debt we had. And for the first time in my adult life, I felt financially free, not because I had more money, but because I needed less. I changed jobs. I took a role with a smaller company, less prestige, less pay, more flexibility. My colleagues thought I was having a breakdown. Maybe I was. Or maybe I was the first sane decision I had made in 20 years. I started walking every morning, just 30 minutes, not for fitness goals or step counts, just to be outside and moving and thinking without a device in my hand. That half hour became the most important part of my day. It's where I process things. It's where I check in with myself. It's where I ask the question I now ask every single morning. What actually matters today? Not what's on my calendar. Not what needs to get done. What actually matters. My relationship with my son changed slowly and then all at once. We started watching football together on Sundays. We started doing simple things, going to a hardware store, cooking dinner, driving somewhere without a real destination. He's 20 now, and we talk more honestly than we ever have. He told me recently that he used to think I didn't really like him. Not that I didn't love him, just that I didn't particularly enjoy being around him. That one stayed with me for a while. Because he wasn't wrong about the way things had looked, even if he was wrong about what was in my heart. I'm 54 now, and I want to tell you what I know to be true. Your 50s are not a countdown. They are not the beginning of the end. They are, if you're willing to be honest with yourself, the first real chance most of us get to stop performing and start living. By your 50s, you have enough experience to know what actually brings you peace and what just brings you applause. You have enough losses to understand that time is not a renewable resource. You have enough self-knowledge, if you're willing to use it, to finally stop building a life around other people's definitions of success. What counts in your 50s is not your title. It is not your net worth. It is not your square footage or your car or whether your kids went to impressive universities. What counts is whether the people who know you best feel loved by you, whether you know what brings you joy independent of what impresses other people, whether you can sit in a quiet room with yourself and feel at peace rather than restless. What counts is presence, real, full, undivided presence, with your partner, your kids, your friends, yourself. I almost missed my own life. I had the calendar and the mortgage and the clean inbox to prove it. Don't make the trade I made, not for one more year, not for one more promotion, not for one more thing that will not matter at all when you're sitting in a doctor's office and a quiet man asks you how you're really doing. That question is waiting for all of us. Make sure when it comes you have an answer you're proud of.